Hey, hello guys, welcome back to the video. So in this video I'm going to explain you about a component and usable components, most dynamic components, and sharing data between your components, and how you can get a most of the benefits out of components. So those are the facts I'm going to explain in this video. So stay tuned, so don't skip the video, because in next videos you're going to learn, directly dive into a UI part, and you'll be you should start writing the code. So these are all the kind of a practical with theoretical. I hope you're also practicing over there. So that's having that hope, I am just starting my video over here. So okay, the last class I did explain to you what is a component, right? I have had explained something about a component and how it works, and what is a how to use the component in your another component or bootstrap component or any parent component. So now let's go into a next step of your component levels. So let's pass a data between a components. Whenever I'm saying a dynamic component, a reusable component, I have to share some metadata to the child component, right? For example, let's say I have some component called ABC that I'm going to create. Let's create in mobile. Okay, so I have some component called you know um, sun, and I'm giving something to sun. I'm giving, my mom is giving 5,000 rupees bucks to me, to mother component, to child components. I know it is very foolish, or it's very funny, but this is the only example I got in this point of time. So let's start now. So I just created the component called sun over here, and I'm going to access the selector. Here you're going to learn dependency injections also, so don't worry, just stay tuned. I'm going to comment all of my code, so just to make a clean code, so don't forget about all the codes, so just concentrate on my codes. I am accessing my component HTML, and I'm going to put my sun here, and I'll be able to get sunworks. That's really cool, right? It works. That's cool. But how we should be able to pass the data? I should be able to pass the data right now. I can pass it in a very ways. Let me explain you the ways of passing a data between your components. I have something called the data passing through @input and output, that I'm going to explain you first. So after that I have something called the service level of sending a data between the components. That's going to be very funny, and it's going to be very interesting, so stay tuned for that. So I'm creating a service and I'm sharing the data. So for that you must have some knowledge about observables and all, how to create async functions and subscribing the things and all. So it's going to be very cool. And the third and fourth I'm going to directly explaining in when that actually needed. So that going to be a view child, and it's going to be onward, it's going to be ng contains. So that I'm going to explain you in the when it's needed. I'm going to explain it as ad hoc. So this is the prerequisite I'm going to explain you in a first initial stage itself. I don't want to confuse you. So okay, let's start. Okay, I have something called attribute binding. So I'm creating the attribute over here. I'm sending like a send data, and I'm sending a text. Also now here when I create a binding over here, so I have to send a variable right here. So I'm sending a send data val. Okay, so this value what you able to see here. So I'm going to declare somewhere here, and I'm going to say it's an any. So when I say any, I can just say like this dot send data val, my name. I'm just love my name, so I keep everywhere, it's wherever I want, where I can keep. So this is something called send val I have, and I have something called sun component here. So sun component should access the send value, right? So for that I need to use a decorator called @ input. It's going to be very cool. So when it would automatically access the particular dependency, or when I say module or a package. So input is something from the core package, so it's going to check that. I'm going to say send data val or a send data, anything you want, and I'm going to take it as a string or any. I usually take any. It is a problem with the memory spike, I'll explain you, but now at this point of time take it as any if you're not sure about the data types. And so I'm taking it as any, and I'm just going to console it. I'm going to console log by saying okay, okay, I'll not console it, I'll just show it right away to your application, the send data. Okay, see, you're able to see Vinayak here. I am not declared anywhere in my component or child component, but still I'm able to see. How? Isn't it something, uh, let me put some here. So isn't it a joke, or isn't it a the magic? No, it is nothing like that. It is just a passing data between your components. That's it. It's a one way of a passing. So the next way I'm going to explain you, it's through it's very cool, right? So don't forget it. Okay, I'll explain you why we need so whenever, for example, in my application I have a different set of so I'm not sending here at as binding. I'm not binding on here, anything here. So I'm just sending raw and val1, val2, val3. Tada, we should get all the values over here because I'm sending. So this is importance of a reusable component and binding the data. If you want to change the data of your component or without impacting, or you rewriting the component code in your actual code, so you can use these things. It's very cool, right? If you want to change some, if you want to share some configuration, for example, let's take an example of a map component which access a zoom in and zoom out configuration from your parent data. So you can have a two maps in a different zoom levels, just passing the zoom level to the parent component by using this kind of a methodology. That's it. It's really cool. Now I'm going to create one service, pass. The service called pass, and I'll be able to see that particular service over here in next couple of seconds. Yes, I got it. It's really good. Now the service is something we have an injectable over here, and we are having something you're providing in, and you have something you have the name, and rest of the things will be same. So in this service I'm going to say okay, I am declaring one variable called pass without observe. Okay, it's just a variable, so I'm declaring here, and I'm calling this service somewhere here in my parent component. I'm calling this service public, and service name you can make anything you can give. So I usually give service name like this, service name, and so I'll be able to get the service here. So at the same way I'm passing the service, right? This dot service dot the name of the thing I'm should able to get, so without observe, and I'm going to say it as a this is from service, and I'm going to access the same thing over here in my child component, that is nothing but a component called sun. What happened? Did I do anything wrong? Yeah, I just deleted the service, right? So I'm going to copy it first, and I'm going to access the sun component. I'm going to put the same dependency injection over here. See, service is something which we would have to have a dependency injection. Okay, so we cannot get without that. Okay, so the service here I'm going to console it log, and I'm going to console the same variable which is there in a service. Tada, I should get a service called this is from service. Isn't it cool? and I'm getting 5 times because I'm calling the particular component in 5 times. This is how you can share a data between a component. And the third one, which is quite tricky, but it's going to be a very good knowledge if you know about this. So this is just passing the data. Till now we have passed the data, but if you are passing anything from the child, you should be able to capture that, right? Either you can use your @viewchild or you can use @output. Now I'm going to explain you the observables where I can use it. So I'm going to access the same service over here. I'm going to declare something called I'm going to create the variable which is going to be private. I hope you know about a private, public, and why it is a usage of that. So I'm going to say message, and I'm going to say like it should be new behavior. Let me, I'm very lazy to write things, okay, but I got a behavior subject here, so it's a subject which is behavior facts, and I'm going to write default message by saying okay, Vinayak is here. So this is a default message. So this is a behavior subject I have, and at the same time I'm just creating one function, because I'm accessing this function, and based on this function I'm just subscribing the data. So once I say about RxJS, I have a different kind. I'm open to some kind of the extra things like next and continue and all those things are available. So I'm just going to utilize, which is I'm going to say like change my message. This accepts on a message. So I'm going to say any data type, and okay, so this is a function which accept a message, and here I'm using the same message observable, and I'm going to say next. So it will access the observable. It will set the value to the next to the message. So this is what I'm done with the service. Now I should utilize this. So I have to utilize in first I'm going to access my parent component here. Okay, so I have already written here, so it's okay. I'll be utilizing the same thing. So I'm just creating a message, a string, or you can create any, it's okay. I'll just create it in any. So the string, I should be able to get I should be subscribe this particular service. Now how I can subscribe this dot service dot the current message. What did I do? Yeah, change message, right? I'm going to subscribe it. It's an observable, but still I'm not getting a subscribe. Let me check why. So like okay, did I okay, I'm accessing the message, so I forgot to do one part here. In my pass value I need to create it as a observable, right? I need to create something called anything. It's going to be like present msg, and I'm going to this dot message dot as observable. So this is the one method I'm going to create it as observable. So I'm going to access the same thing. So here I'm not going to access the change, that is a function. I'm going to access something called present message. So here I can subscribe. I'm open to the subscribe method now. So all I need to do, I need to subscribe. To subscribe I need to get a message here or a response from the subscription, and I'll be able to access or able to alert that. And now I'm at this point of time just alerting the message, I'm alerting the response. That's it. You have successfully created the first thing you got, right? Okay, cool. One. So okay. So first message I got. So now I should go to my son, that component, and I should be able to pass the message now, right? Isn't it cool? Now I am able to access the message. I should pass it now. How I can pass it? The same way I have accessed this particular service. All I need to do, I need to call the particular particular method where I'm going to send the message. Okay, so that's how it will be. So I'm going to create a method by saying, okay, change the message. And here I'm going to say, I'm here going to call this service dot change my message, and I'm going to send the message. So here it accepts any data type, so I'm going to send anything like this is kind of fun. So this is what I have. I have not yet called this message. So all I need to do in a sun component, I'm going to create one button which says change, and I'm going to have an event called click, and I'm going to call the particular message. So let's say how it works. So this is the one. This is kind of fun. See, this is kind of fun. So here I'm doing more important things over here. So I'm just sorry. So the send data, whatever is there, I'm going to put here. Let's say what I can get. This is kind of fun, and here I should accept a data here, and I should say kind of fun with the particular data. I can write any, I can pass easily any kind of variables by using this way. So all I need to do, I can pass the data over here. So let's check how it works. This is a first Vinayak here. It's a kind of fun with the Vinayak. It's kind of fun with Rao. It's kind of fun with value. Kind of fun with value 2. Kind of fun with value 3. Isn't it cool, guys? It's very cool, right? This is how it should be. This is what actually and what exactly I'm explaining you. Angular is kind of a cool and a funny language. You can do whatever you want to do with that. So this is a one way I'm going to pass, and another way it's like kind of a output and all, but I usually use this kind of methodology. I don't want to use @output for every single methods I use. I really hate that kind of stuff. I don't want to use event emitters. I use observable most. But remember, when you're using observable, when you're using subscription or anywhere, just make sure you're unsubscribing the particular thing. For example, here, and I'm subscribing somewhere, right? Here I'm subscribe this, right? So I have something called ng. Here I have to do the unsubscription, because or else it will become a memory spike. I'll explain here itself. So if I go to audit, I'll generate a report. Let's check how good is my application as of now. I love to check a performance of any application I created, guys. I really love it. Accessibility is 100% because I have not used any the worst kind of scenarios applications, and best practice 93. Maybe this is because of it will explain you why you are getting 93. It is saying like it is HTTP, right? It's not HTTP2 for all the resources. Does not use. Yeah, that's cool. It's okay. This local host and runtime, all those things. So when I change my SSL, it's going to be 100% of my coding best practices. So this is how it is. Like it's really cool, guys. So make sure you are getting this concept, because entire application, wherever you want to pass the data, I'm going to use this methodology. I don't know about other tutorials what exactly they're gonna use, but I'm going to use a services, because the what is the meaning of service in Angular and anywhere. Service is nothing but it's something like sharing data between a component. So I'm going to use the same thing. So make sure you're getting this concept, and I'm really happy to teach these things with you and to you. And that's it. Stay tuned for the next couple of videos. I'm going to complete the basic part. After that, we'll deep dive into the actual application we're going to create, that is news app. Yep. Thank you guys, and love you all. Bye.